As Friday evening fades, a massive limestone wheel grates against bedrock. It rolls heavily across the entrance of the burial cave, cutting off the last sliver of daylight and plunging the space into absolute darkness. The local authorities take no chances with the body inside. They press a heavy Roman wax seal directly across the perimeter of the stone, guaranteeing that any attempt to move it will bring the immediate, lethal retaliation of the state. Inside the vault, the silence is thick and motionless. Outside, a highly trained detachment of the Roman military stands watch. Armed with iron spears and heavy shields, they are an unyielding wall of power. The presence of the guard and the weight of the seal ensure that whatever happens inside will be shielded from human interference, creating a situation where only a defiance of physical law could change the outcome. Behind the stone lies a lifeless figure, found tightly in linen. The air is entirely deprived of warmth and heavily saturated with 75 pounds of myrrh and aloes, creating a suffocating, resinous perfume. In any normal burial, biological entropy begins immediately. This is the predictable law of nature, where cells begin to break down, bacteria multiply, and organic matter steadily succumbs to decay. But inside this specific tomb, a strange anomaly occurs. The natural laws of entropy halt entirely. Time itself seems to warp and freeze in place, halting the grim work of biology before it begins. This unnatural stasis transforms the vault into a site of intense cosmic pressure, a silence that carries the weight of an entire world's expectation. While the physical body rests untouched in the freezing dark throughout Saturday, theology asks a terrifying question: where exactly is the spirit? Ancient traditions point to an event known as the harrowing of hell. They suggest the Spirit of Christ did not sleep, but actively descended into the lowest realm of the dead to rescue the souls of antiquity trapped in the shadows. The ancient texts describe a violent, inward shattering of massive bronze gates, as a blinding, golden light erupts into an eternity of absolute darkness. The profound, heavy silence pressing down on the physical tomb in Jerusalem was a veil. It masked a violent, joyous liberation unfolding simultaneously in the spiritual realm. Back on Earth, Sunday approaches midnight. The air inside the pitch-black vault begins to change. A deep, cosmic tension builds at the molecular level. The rigid laws of physics start to fracture. The temperature inside the icy space drops sharply, followed by an immediate, massive spike of heat radiating from the core of the lifeless body. The local gravitational field falters. Microscopic dust motes resting on the burial shroud begin to slowly float upward into the still air, entirely defying gravity. These thermal spikes and gravitational shifts converge on a single point of infinite energy. In this moment, the energy required to override the decay of the physical body manifests, drawing the spirit back into a union with the flesh. This technical image shows a miraculous byproduct. A blinding flash of ultraviolet radiation erupts, scorching the linen. Notice the weave. The mark doesn't bleed like liquid. It's a perfect 3D photographic negative, a forensic receipt of this impossible energy. Entropy, the ultimate law of a dying universe, is completely reversed from the inside out. The physical awakening in the dark happens with complete serenity. There is no frantic gasping for air. There is no panicked struggle to tear away the heavy bandages. The figure operates under a new biology, physical enough to possess real mass, yet capable of simply phasing through the stiff, resin-soaked grave clothes as if passing through morning mist. He steps into the dark room and reaches for the separate cloth that covered his face. With deliberate, unhurried movements, he folds the napkin neatly and places it on the slab, a master's quiet signal to his servants that his work is finished. He moves through the solid rock of the vault as easily as he left the grave clothes, treating the stone as a permeable membrane rather than an obstacle. For a brief window of time, the ultimate paradox exists. The inner vault is entirely empty, yet the massive stone and the Roman seal remain perfectly undisturbed on the outside. Then the physical world reacts violently to the silent victory. A blinding beam of angelic light strikes the exterior of the door, accompanied by a deep tectonic rumble that shakes the bedrock. The brittle Roman wax snaps instantly. With a deafening roar of grinding rock, the massive boulder is thrust backward up its incline. The armed guards outside collapse to the ground, entirely paralyzed by fear. In a fraction of a second, the ultimate authority of the human empire is broken and rendered entirely obsolete by the authority of the divine. Here is the vital theological truth of Sunday morning. The angel didn't move the heavy stone to let the resurrected king out. The occupant had already left. The stone was moved to let the world look in. The heavy, suffocating scent of burial myrrh is rapidly pushed out by warm morning mist drifting through the entrance. The dark cave is swallowed by the lush, vibrant life of a new Eden. The first witnesses will find the linen shroud still lying on the slab, undisturbed and flattened, as if the occupant simply evaporated from within. The cold, mechanical laws of death were successfully consumed. What remains is an eternal open door, one that can never be closed again.